There's an island owned by the United States, but even Americans can't set foot on it. This is Palmyra Atoll, the true forbidden island. Imagine a piece of the United States map that, paradoxically, doesn't really belong to its people. That's the case of Palmyra Atoll, a remote U.S. territory isolated in the middle of the Pacific, often described as the true forbidden island. Almost no one is allowed to set foot there, and just hearing that sparks a nagging curiosity. Why is an American territory treated like a secret? Palmyra has been the stage for mysteries, legal disputes that reach the Supreme Court, and even wartime tales that sound straight out of a movie. Its reputation is so enigmatic that some even speak of a curse, and that we're not talking about silly superstitions. It's as if nature itself put up an invisible sign that reads, "Enter at your own risk." What's most intriguing is that, despite its crystal-clear waters and tropical landscapes, Palmyra's history holds episodes far beyond paradise-like beauty. From battles in the World War to Pacific to secret projects that never materialized, this small patch of land has been shaped by events that defy logic. The first records of Palmyra Atoll date back to 1798, when a ship bearing the same name wrecked in the area. From then on, the Forbidden Island earned a peculiar place in Pacific cartography. More than just a remote U.S. territory, it became remembered as a land surrounded by enigmas. Over time, stories emerged that fed into accursed or hidden treasures that were never found, inexplicable disappearances, and crimes still echoing in historical documents. For many, Palmyra became a kind of mini Bermuda Triangle, where tropical beauty masks dark tales. What's striking is how these stories, passed down by word of mouth, built the atmosphere of a ghost island. While legends elsewhere fueled tourism, Palmyra remained inaccessible, keeping its mystery nearly untouched. In 1862, Palmyra Atoll was claimed by the Kingdom of Hawaii in what seemed like a mere bureaucratic move. After all, who would care about a tiny forbidden island lost in the Pacific? Yet that almost forgotten detail became a strategic piece on the geopolitical chessboard. When the United States annexed Hawaii in 1898, Palmyra was pulled in by default. There was no public debate, no big headlines, just another remote U.S. territory quietly added to the empire. That sovereignty detail turned Palmyra into an identity issue, forgotten, but still part of an expanding empire. What was once a maritime curiosity gained weight in disputes that marked the following century, from legal battles to its role in the World War to Pacific. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 forever changed Palmyra Atoll's destiny. Within weeks, the once-forgotten remote U.S. territory became a military fortress at the heart of the World War to Pacific. Runways, artificial channels, and bases were built to house thousands of soldiers. More than 6,000 lived there at one time. Silence gave way to the roar of planes, patrols, and naval operations. Even a Japanese submarine attack left scars on the atoll. Soldiers described the experience as surreal, surrounded by turquoise waters but trapped in constant war. That clash between beauty and destruction left marks still visible today. Abandoned structures, remnants of airstrips, and canals reveal how war reshaped the island. After the war, Palmyra Atoll traded planes and cannons for courtrooms. The Fuller-Leos family claimed ownership of the island, arguing legitimate property rights. The U.S. government, on the other hand, insisted that the remote U.S. territory was vital to its strategic interests. The case reached the Supreme Court in 1947. And it wasn't just about Palmyra. It was about the weight of private ownership against the power of an entire nation. For the family, the island was a legacy. For Washington, it was a geopolitical asset that could not be left in private hands. Few remember the ruling today, but it set a precedent that still resonates in debates over state power and territorial claims. After the war, ambitious plans for Palmyra Atoll surfaced. Some dreamed of turning the Forbidden Island into a luxury resort or even a casino. Others proposed using it as a nuclear waste dump, much like Bikini Atoll's tragic fate. None of these projects came to life, but they reveal how the remote U.S. territory was constantly caught in conflicting interests. In the end, almost by chance, Palmyra avoided such fates and retained its untouched character. This alternate future is part of what makes the island's story so fascinating. In 2000, Palmyra Atoll's story took an unexpected turn. The Nature Conservancy acquired the Forbidden Island in partnership with the US government, creating a one-of-a-kind conservation refuge. This new chapter transformed Palmyra into a living laboratory. Instead of runways and cannons, the island became home to climate, ecosystem, and biodiversity research. More than that, Palmyra gained a new identity, no longer remembered only as a disputed territory, but as a symbol of intentional conservation. Today, access to Palmyra Atoll is extremely limited. The Forbidden Island admits only scientists, support staff, and a handful of major donors. This exclusivity sparks criticism. Has conservation become an elitist privilege? Comparisons arise with Sentinel Island and Surtsey, both untouched, yet equally out of reach for ordinary people. The ethical question remains, how far should isolation go in the name of environmental preservation? Palmyra Atoll shelters an ecosystem that seems to belong to another age. Its pristine coastal forest connects seamlessly with the ocean, creating a natural cycle where millions of birds fertilize both the soil and the reefs. The reefs are even more astonishing. Predators dominate the waters. Sharks roam in abundance, ensuring coral vitality. This rare window into the ocean's past is not just a spectacle for researchers, it's also a warning. In recent years, Palmyra Atoll has become a true natural laboratory. Projects eliminated invasive species, such as rats, with immediate results. Native trees regenerated, and bird populations soared. The recovery extended to the reefs as well, strengthened by the nutrient cycle flowing from forest to sea. At the same time, advanced research turned the island into a reference point for studies on climate change, ocean acidification, and rising global temperatures. Despite conservation efforts, Palmyra Atoll faces an enemy no court or military base can hold back: the sea. Standing barely 6 feet above water, this remote US territory ranks among the most vulnerable to climate change. For scientists, Palmyra is a living warning. What happens to its ecosystem may foreshadow the future of other islands and coastal cities in the coming decades. This looming threat has turned Palmyra into a powerful symbol of global vulnerability. Palmyra Atoll exposes an uncomfortable truth: an American territory that Americans themselves cannot access. A place locked behind closed doors, where natural beauty has become the privilege of a few. This isolation is no coincidence. It reflects political choices and interests that are never openly discussed. Palmyra is the raw portrait of how power decides who has rights and who doesn't, even on land that should belong to everyone. If you want to keep uncovering stories that reveal secrets like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications now. The next video may expose something even more disturbing, and you'll want to be the first to hear it.